my song.
Hi there! Welcome to Bonus Sunday. My name is Jessica Leia. Glad to have you today. I wanted to give you a little taste, a little morsel, a little kind of something idea of maybe possibly something that might kind of sort of happen when I do my behind the scenes here on me and my song. This is normally like a private segment of the show that I do for my fourth tier donators, which actually might not even be an option on my donating platforms right now because I'm dealing with some stuff with some platforms right now. Anyway, just know that that's an option, fourth tier donations, and there are videos that come along with that. Videos like this, although they're always a little different. But today I'm going to take some deleted scenes that never made it in to some of the monologues that I did just for the first few episodes of this season. Tidbits that just never made the final cut in the videos that were shown to the general public. Público general. So, it's kind of fun. Yay! The first monologue that I did in this season for the A Song is Born portion of the show. And of course I did it for the first song of this season, which was Welcome to the Show. And when I was looking through like the biggest chunk of edited scenes from that monologue, I realized that it was basically like me just going off on this stream of consciousness that kind of really didn't make sense. I mean, it did in my brain, but anyway, I cut it out for a reason. But this little segment that I cut out actually makes a lot of sense, especially for me. I don't know about for you guys, but for me it does. It ends up I would spend most of my childhood in a kind of high beta brainwave state, like except for when I was listening to or creating music, of course. Ultimately, I cut it out because it felt kind of stressful. For the second episode of this season, I introduced you to the song My Soul, which is essentially a song about how it feels to be spiritually violated. In the Song is Born portion of this episode, where I do my monologue, I discussed the many clever ways that parasite people execute these spiritual violations and how that makes you feel. Not good. I felt helpless because I felt totally alone. Like, what is it, Liddy on Beetlejuice? What's her name? Lydia, actually. It's Lydia. I feel utterly alone. Okay, so you can see why I cut that scene. Kind of pointless. But this is behind the scenes, so I can comment on how totally hilarious I think that scene is in Beetlejuice. I am alone. I am utterly alone. Maybe you only think that's funny if you've written a suicide note before. I don't know. That just cracks me up. Okay. And after a while of having enough damage done to my psyche and emotional and spiritual body, I didn't even think I deserved my parasite. How's that for a mindfuck? Mindfuck is actually sort of another way you could kind of describe spiritual violation. They're sort of part and parcel, They go together. Yeah, I went ahead and left the fuck in there without bleeping it out, because you know what? It is a mind fuck. That's all these parasite people do. They mind fuck. Here's some other deleted scenes where I talk more about mind fucking parasite people and some of the mind fucking stuff that they do. And they'll prevent you from putting that strength and those smarts and that light into the world. They want to feed off of it all for themselves. Parasites literally actually hide inside of you, so you can't find them. Just like parasite people will hide what they are doing to you from the rest of the world. That's why they don't want you hanging out with other people. You might end up telling those people about how difficult it is to have a parasite latched onto you. We won't have any of that. And you know what else?
That's nobody else's business.
Yeah, heard that one a few times. A little behind the scenes trivia. When I was taking notes about what I wanted to say in this monologue, I wrote about like 20 pages. It was a small book. I could write a book on this. So I whittled everything down to this monologue, but even in the final recording, I had so many different ways that parasite people can mindfuck you in this monologue. I had to cut so many of them out. But you know, here's a few more I'll just throw your way. It's a couple of my faves, a couple of my favorite mindfucks. You know, we're doing a little behind the scenes and shit. You shouldn't want anybody else anyway. Oh, and that you don't deserve anybody else. After all,
You're so selfish, and you're mean.
by the way, they'll be going behind your back and saying all of these wonderful things about you to everybody else. That's gotta be love, right? That's true love right there. But Jessica, you're such a strong person. You could never fall prey to a parasite person's mind fucking. I consider myself to be a pretty strong person. And I might not be the brightest bulb in the room.
Aha!
But I got me some smarts. But being smart and being strong doesn't mean you can't get parasites. A parasite doesn't care about how smart or strong you are. In fact, the stronger, the better. Because then they'll be able to feed off of you for a longer amount of time.
And they will, boy, howdy.
I really just wanted to throw this next scene in here as a sort of public health announcement. Sometimes I hear people talking about how much they love bread. Man, I just love bread. I can't get me enough bread. I love bread. I love to eat bread. Bread is so good. I'm like, you don't love bread. The candida parasite inside of you loves bread. And it is constantly sending signals to your brain saying, give me bread, so that they can survive off of you. And then you're like, I love bread. Man, I just can't get enough bread. It's true. I took it out originally because I referred to candida as a parasite, and it basically kind of is, but ultimately it's technically a yeast. Oh, and by the way, you more than likely have an overgrowth of candida. I'm just trying to help you out, bro. Some more behind the scenes trivia. Hated my hair in this monologue. But don't talk shit. It was a quarantine haircut. Or lack thereof. Yeah, quarantine. You know, that thing that was, ironically enough, forced upon the masses by a bunch of parasite people. So, on that note, just to sort of sum up, parasites and parasite people for you a little bit more, I'll go ahead and wrap this segment up from the deleted scenes from the My Soul monologue with this parasite person summation. And they've become so addicted, literally, to the madness and so deeply identified with it that somewhere in the dark corners of their mind, they are scared to death. Scared to death that they would be nothing without it. Remember, we're talking about survival here. Parasites can't fuck around. They need a host, and they need it now. Otherwise, they die. Do the world and yourself a favor. Don't be a host for parasites. Don't freaking be a parasite. Ugh. You tell I'm a little sensitive about the topic. So here's your behind the scenes of deleted scenes from the monologue I did for episode 3 this season, which was the song Shadow. Shadow is a song about exploring the very real aspect of the self, often referred to as the shadow self. I discovered, ironically, that as I was going through the deleted scenes of this monologue, that even though they were scenes that never made the final cut, if I pieced them together, they kind of summed up the entire talk I did on the shadow self in less than 2 minutes. So I pieced them all together here for you now. In case you missed the monologue, here it is in less than 2 minutes. Derived from the deleted scenes. I don't know, life is weird.
I mean, it's not our fault that we're all screwed up. It's not our fault that we've been totally abused. It's not our fault that we've been totally betrayed. It's not our fault that we're so freaking messed up. It's not our fault that we've got all these issues that we've got. But it is our responsibility. It's our shadow now, baby.
The collective shadow.
I can't see you. No, you're not there. Mom, Shadow won't stop staring at me. No, go away. I have not dealt with some unhealed wound within myself that has been festering and pussing and causing all kinds of gross smells and infections.
Ew.
I told you she was ugly, man. Life is disturbing sometimes. You know, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do about that. Or is there?
Oh, good people. Of course, there's always something we can do.
I should think that embracing the darkness in oneself is in fact choosing the light, shouldn't you?
Perhaps so, Poppycock. Perhaps so. No! I am not in any way saying to worship any kind of Dark Lord. Just want to clear that up.
Dang it!
Huh? Just like the quantum physicists say, life is essentially potentiality. And since I would suggest that we are a prime example of life, I would say that we are living, breathing, pure potentiality, walking around on 2 legs. Sorry if you don't have 2 legs. That sucks.
So there you go. That about sums it up. Oh, and I did sing my favorite song in a few different styles at the end of this monologue, so I thought I'd just toss those in there for you too. Sing along if you want. I think you should.
Rap style. Row, row, row your boat, yo, gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. What? Opera style. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.
I couldn't remember his name for a second there.
Andrew Dice Clay style. Row, row, row your motherfucking boat.
Since this is a behind the scenes, here's a little trivia for you about recording this particular monologue. The lapel mic was totally fucked up.
Yay!
So I couldn't use any of the audio. Fortunately, I had set up an emergency room microphone, and then of course the cameras do have microphones in them. Only thing is, those mics kind of suck. And you use a lapel mic because it basically only gets what's coming out of your mouth. Like that. Room mics, however, of course, catch the sound of the entire room. And even though you can't tell when I finish producing all of these videos, the places where I do the recording, like here, even on the stage here in the stage room, very loud places. Yeah, lots of noise. Lots of car noise, lots of factory noise, lots of white noise, lots of talking, lots of traffic, loud noise. Yeah, loud. So since I had no take from the audio from the lapel mic, I had to take all the room mics and the camera mics and stuff and doctor them up big time before I could even start editing the video. And that took me an entire weekend. Love my job. I love my job. And another behind the scenes bit of trivia about this particular monologue, Shadow hated the shirt. Actually, I loved the shirt, but you see, all of this show business stuff takes a lot of planning. And I had planned this outfit out for this monologue like a year before I ever even did the shoot for it. And from the time that I picked out the outfit from the time that I actually did the shoot, I lost a lot of weight. So the shirt didn't fit so good. It was a little too big. Or my boobs got a little too small. Or both. Probably a little bit of both. But I was like all diva about it. I was like, I don't have time to pick out another outfit. Ah! Next season, I'm just gonna wear the same clothes for every monologue. I'm not even kidding. Just watch. Mark my words. Same clothes, every monologue. Don't worry, I'll wash them in between uses. But this isn't smell-o-vision, so. And one last thing before we leave the behind the scenes for this monologue I did on the song Shadow. I wanted to leave you with this loving message.
You are just beautiful. You are. You're beautiful. And gosh darn it, people like you. Actually, I don't know about that last part. That might not be true.
So there's a little taste of what a behind the scenes might possibly, maybe, potentially look like. I say possibly, might, maybe, potentially because they're different every time. Like I said, we might take some deleted scenes from when me and the guys are recording, possibly be a different mix of one of my music videos, because I make multiple cuts of the different shooting locations before I compile them all together into the final music video cut. A behind the scenes might be a compilation of bloopers where I fall flat on my face, or knock a bunch of shit over repeatedly, or get multiple crotch crawlies and wedgies whilst dancing around in a bodysuit. You just never know what you might get in a behind the scenes. Just a chance to hang out, be a little more intimate than I might get with the general public. You know, and do things like drop F-bombs instead of bleeping them out. How's that for a mind fuck? But hey, technically, this is a bonus Sunday. So happy bonus Sunday!
Bonus Sunday!
I hope that the parasite people haven't prevented you from going to your place of worship and exercising whatever kind of religious freedom you choose. Just remember, parasite people cannot sever your connection from Prime Creator. Ever. Last bonus Sunday, I showed you an entire recording session gone wrong from earlier in the season. Next bonus Sunday is going to be in May, and that's going to be totally different than any of this stuff. But I'm not going to tell you what it is because bonus Sundays are like a surprise and stuff. Like you don't know what's going to happen on bonus Sundays. You'll like it! Don't worry, it's definitely going to be music related. Guaranteed. It'll have something to do with music. And don't worry, you don't have to wait until May for us to hang out again. I will be right back here next week to tell you all about how and why next month's song was ever even born. That's right, I got a whole new song coming your way, baby. Just like I do every month here on Me and My Song.
Me and my song.